Hey there, PokeMoshPit. This is LunarEklipse, and this is my first battle here. As you can see, looking at the teams, mine is pure UU, and his is pretty much a cookie-cutter OU team. And the purpose of this battle is pretty much just to show you that UU Pokemon are not actually weaker. They're just a bit more confusing. Lead off with Skarmory. Well, he leads off with Skarmory. I go in with Claydol. Stealth Rocks. We both get our rocks up. I go for the Ice Beam. He switches into Gyarados. Intimidate comes in. I'm weaker, but for attack, this guy has no attacks other than the Rapid Spin, which I didn't use yet. Lefties come in. I switch into Emphysema, my Weezing. He goes for the Stone Edge. It does a little bit. I don't know. Emphysema is pretty much my defensive wall. He can take just about anything. He goes for the Taunt, as I go for the Thunderbolt. Four times super effective to Gyarados. Will hit that thing really hard no matter what, no matter how many special attack EVs this Weezing has, which is actually 0. He's purely my defensive wall. He's not meant to be an attacker, but in this battle, I predict so many great things. I go for the Flamethrower to hit anything else that he switches in that might resist Thunderbolt, and he switches into a Metagross, which after Stealth Rock's damage does a little bit over half. That prediction was pretty darn good. Due to being able to hit that Metagross with that Flamethrower, I knew I'd have to go for it again, even if he Zen Headbutted, which is Weezing's only weakness thanks to Levitate. I knew I could 2HKO the Metagross, which is essentially a bit troublesome. That crit, I'm pretty sure it didn't matter. If anything, he'd live with like 3 HP, and I could just go in an extreme speed on that with my Arcanine. He goes into Scizor. I'm expecting the Bullet Punch. I can't do anything. It's just wise enough to let him die. There's Rocks Ups. So if I switch him out, he'd just die on the switch in. Ursaring comes out. Double switch to Primeape. I make the misplay and go for the Ice Punch after his Swords Dance, which really isn't the wisest idea. He goes for the Bug Bite, which after Technician boost plus Stab plus his Swords Dance with the addition of Life Orb pretty much will just destroy Primeape. Ambipom comes in. Pretty much my only attempt here is to bring him down to a level where he is killable, because otherwise that Scizor will not be able to attack unless he uses Bullet Punch. I'm pretty sure he didn't know that I carried Last Resort. Not many people predict an Ambipom with only 2 moves. It's got huge base power after you factor in the part that I'm using Silk Scarf and its Stab. Last Resort on a Breloom. Get the crit. That definitely mattered. That Breloom could essentially wall this team. He goes for the Mach Punch on his Infernape against my Ambipom. Takes me out. Didn't expect to live through that. He gets the crit. So Crit Hacks gets returned. Really no arguments there. I'm happy I killed that Breloom though. Claydol comes in. I forget that Infernapes have U-turn, but I still handle that quite well. He goes into his Skarmory. He has the idea that he's going to start phasing here. I go for the Earth Power, expecting his Infernape to stay in. He decides he's going to start phasing in a second here, so he starts whirlwinding around, and this first turn I get blown into my Arcanine, which could essentially take him out in one fire move, but predicting the switch into Infernape, because I know he can take fire moves quite well, I go for the Dragon Pulse. This is a specially based Arcanine, which aren't super common. They're a little bit surprising to some people. I get the crit on the Dragon Pulse. I get whirlwinded out. I didn't expect him to stay in, honestly, so what can you say? And another thing I gotta say about this guy, I'm pretty sure he was using Stealth Rocks just because there's a bunch of Pokemon that resist Spikes, which is Skarmory's signature move, and essentially if you whirlwind the right things with Skarmory, you could take things out purely with Stealth Rocks. So it's not a bad set idea. I Rapid Spin, or at least I did. I switch out to Ursaring as he roosts. Really not much I can do there. I just figure I gotta switch back into Arcanine sometime here. Thanks to Ursaring's ability Quick Feet. Also, not many people expect a Quick Feet Ursaring set. They expect a Choice Scarfed Guts Ursaring, which is not something I'd like to use. because I dislike being choiced into anything. He goes for the spikes. I mean, no, stealth rocks. There we go. And I switch to Arcanine. Stealth rock damage is a good amount on Skarmory. I mean, not on Skarmory, on Arcanine. He whirlwinds me out to Ursaring again. I decide that I gotta just attack this thing a few times, because I can't just switch and then he'll just whirlwind me. So if I go for the Stab Facade, even though it's not very effective, it did just about as much as Close Combat did last turn. He whirlwinds me into Claydol. I now have the ability to Rapid Spin the Stealth Rocks away as he whirlwinds me. So that's very helpful, which means that my next Pokemon can pretty much enter unscathed. I go for the Overheat in a second here, because I was like, you know what, screw it, Overheat would still do a good amount to an Infernape. So I pretty much just make the decision that I have to do some kind of attack that will hurt this guy. I get the special attack drop, but I use White Herb, which allows me to pretty much get 2 overheats in before I have to switch out due to just being crippled. Stones come in. I Extreme Speed on the Infernape just to get enough damage because I know it is Life Orbed. It does a fair amount for a special attacker, Arcanine. I don't expect that to bring it into KO range. He gets the defense drops. Arcanine's gone. I go into Claydol, hoping to be able to take an Overheat or whatever he comes out with. He gets a crit. I'm not sure if that mattered. I doubt it did. Just due to... well, it probably did matter, seeing as I'm ground type and I resist it. Ursaring, thanks to Quick Feet, is able to get the move in, which pretty much... him not knowing that I was faster, thanks to Quick Feet, made this battle. It was the closest UU versus OU battle that I've gotten in, and thanks.